Food, one of the most basic necessities of life. It's what allows us to grow and repair our bodies and is the first step to a healthy life. But not everyone has equal access to nutritious food. Neighborhoods where it is difficult to purchase affordable, nutritious food have been labeled with the term food deserts. When living in a food desert, large grocery stores are hard to come by, while fast food restaurants and convenience stores are in high population. Additionally, the limited healthy options are much more expensive than their fast food counterparts. These food deserts effectively create communities with high rates of obesity, diabetes, and other health-related conditions. These conditions continue from generation to generation and are often life-threatening.
So where is this really happening?
Food deserts are most often found in areas with high rates of unemployment and residents who have lower levels of education but disproportionately affect communities of color. Research shows that one major cause of food deserts was the discriminatory practice of redlining, the systemic denial of services such as mortgages and other financial services to residents of certain areas based on their race or ethnicity. Although redlining has since been made illegal, we still can see its legacy impacting issues like food access.
So who's doing something about it?
There are a number of organizations working to combat the effects of food deserts, one of which being Gardopia.
Alright, we're headed to Gardopia right now to see our friend Stephen Lukey, to see what his organization is about and to see what he thinks about food access in San Antonio and what some of the problems are.
So for people who don't know what Gardopia is, maybe provide a brief explanation of what y'all's mission is, what y'all are currently doing for the community.
Sure. So we are an education-based nonprofit. We teach people about healthy and sustainable living through garden-based learning. So we go to schools, churches, community centers, restaurants, houses. Our goal is to get everybody to grow a little bit of food for themselves and for the planet. And if we can create those small shifts, hopefully it leads to these bigger changes around the challenges we're facing in our communities.
Why do you think accessing nutritious food is so important?
Well, it's important for our health, and our health really drives almost everything in life for our bodies, right? And if you don't have a healthy body, it starts impacting other things in your life. Higher healthcare costs, decline brain cognition, your body being able to protect itself, having the energy to go out and do and live life to the fullest. And so it's important for all of us to be able to have access to fresh, healthy food. Unfortunately, we're in a situation where food distribution is the problem. It's not food production, it's not there's not enough food, it's that the way that food is distributed and in the way that we have this free market, there's sort of predatory techniques that are utilized by these large corporations that specifically put unhealthier food options in communities of color and impoverished communities.
Who do you think has the most potential to make an impact on this issue of increasing food access?
Well, the government plays a really big role in this. Private corporations also play a role in it. Foundations and public charities. It's really cross-sector. Even if you provide healthy options in communities, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to choose those options. And so it's not just about the access, but it's also about the education and really starting it at age 0, because the way that you start eating at a young age is going to influence your palate and it's going to affect your palate, but it's also going to influence the food decisions that you make for a lifetime.
Is there anything that can be done to educate people who are out of that, traditional educational phase of their life?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, a lot of people will not make changes unless they have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have what's called a life-altering occurrence, where you get into a wreck, or you get cancer, or you get diagnosed with diabetes, or a family member dies. And so when that life-altering instance occurs, then you start to rethink how you're living. And so if you're outside of that traditional range of education from 0 to 18, and you haven't had a life-altering event occur, then there's really no reason for you to change. Now, again, incentives, of course, commercials and marketing could be a big component of it, and you need a certain amount of interior motive to make that change. And so For us, we do community garden programming, we do health and wellness education, we do professional development. I think a part of it is it needs to be in your community. It needs to be close to you because you may not have cancer, you may not have diabetes, but you might be a little unhealthy. And so if you're walking by a community garden every day, maybe there's that one chance, that occurrence, that you're like, hey, what's going on in here? And you walk in and you're like, oh wow, look at this. And then somebody hands you a bag of kale and you might take it home and cook it, right? So cooking is also a big thing.
Since you've stepped in, or since your foundation has, began working, building this garden, what changes have you seen in your community?
We started at this specific location to help with crime reduction because it was an extremely high crime vacant lot with different things happening. And so we have seen that change. Health and wellness isn't just about your nutrition, and just about your physical activity, but it's also about your environment. It's about safety and having a safe space to go. And, when you walk to the store, not worrying about if somebody's going to ask you for money and try to mug you, whatever it might be. And so we've seen a change in the safety component of people feeling comfortable and being able to enjoy their neighborhood more.
Do you have any, newfound goals for your foundation in the near future of, introducing new practices into the community?
We just want to continue growing what we're currently doing. We will have a conference that's really big for us. It's called the Food and Nature Education Conference. We're going to start an apprenticeship program. And then aside from that, more schools, more houses, more restaurants, more parks. We just want to see this across the board. And really it starts at that collective impact level. So starting to track data at a systemic level around San Antonio.
Thank you for letting us speak with you. Maybe you could give us a quick walk around of the garden. Give us a quick tour.
Yeah. All right. So this is our rain garden. We collect a lot of water on the property, and so we dug it out, put some different plants that help break up the clay, because San Antonio has a lot of clay type soil, which allows the water to infiltrate back into the soil, which allows for our groundwater to be cleaner and to reduce stormwater flooding into our streets. So that's why green space is really important. The community garden has 13 rows. It's sort of a communal plot. It's not any one person responsible for the space, but we all collectively work it and take home the fruits of our labor. So we have some winter crop in right now: kale, celery, spinach, lettuce, Swiss chard, broccoli. All those plants grow really well during the cold winter months. So these are our aquaponics system, and essentially we have fish right here. It's a closed loop system. These fish, essentially their feces helps us, but you can give them a little bit of food, as you can see, and then they essentially help fertilize the plants over there. So we'll have about 1 million seeds in here. We're just finishing up with the drywall, but essentially we'll have racks of seeds here that'll be climate controlled with the AC unit, and will allow us to essentially create sustainability, and the idea of anybody who needs seeds to start their garden can come to Gardopia and grab some. So this is called our microgreen eatery and mushroom education laboratory. We're almost done with it. There will be some food here available to folks. And this is our kitchen where we're able to do, of course, cooking and all that good stuff. But here, we're starting to grow microgreens. Everything's autonomous. These are extremely nutrient dense and can grow in 7 days. And then over here, we will have our mushrooms. So you can see our mushroom bags over here that are currently growing, and we'll be able to grow oyster mushrooms, which grow in about 21 days. And so we're trying to look at integrating more high technology into low-tech agriculture to teach the next generation, and also continue to reduce the amount of time that we're putting in, but increasing our output of our production of yield.
Over 19 million Americans are affected by food deserts today. So what can you do about it? Be involved in your community and push for policy that makes our city a more food-conscious one.